court is now in session for, how do I say that?
Manitoba, Your Honor. The pixie of the Arpeggio.
Right, his trial. Court is in session.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is A-OK, our judge.
Very well, Prosecutor Gavin.
My opening statement, yeah?
No, actually. There was something else I wanted to ask you about.
Yes?
Say you're going to visit someone in a hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them?
Eh?
I mean, you wouldn't say get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them when we're down.
What are you talking about?
Actually, I'm going to visit someone who is terminally ill. Right after this trial, the Chief Justice.
The Chief Justice?
His son is afflicted with a most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems.
Yeah, I know, Callie. It is the judge. Like, he is like that.
So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something might be in order for the day.
Why don't grown-ups ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretending? But that doesn't tell me anything. Like a 44 Magnum doesn't tell me anything. Like, the only relationship I've had with guns is whenever I've been playing FPSs. The likes of, Battlefield, Counter-Strike. Although Counter-Strike is like, it's been 15 years since I played a Counter-Strike in any capacity. I think. Something like that. It's been years since I played Counter-Strike in any capacity. And that's where it ends, Because, like, it was never relevant for any of the games I've played otherwise. Hey, Kaimo! How are you? She's looking at me with something like disgust. Hey, what are you looking like that at me for that for?
In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly.
Isn't this wonderful? The judge is in a hurry to finish a trial in which someone from the right agency is the defense attorney. He is optimistic, isn't he?
Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement, briefly.
You're in luck, our judge. I believe you'll be going to your hospital's visit sooner than you think. First, to review the victim of this case, Romain Latouz, age 35, the global manager for diva songsters La Miroir. The cause of death, bloodlust, due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details.
The court accepts this into evidence.
The Dirty Harry gun weighs about... So I have no idea what the Dirty Harry gun is, but I do know how heavy 1.2 kilograms is. Trust the gun. I just can't.
45 caliber? That is quite large, isn't it? A direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet.
However, the bullet struck him in his shoulder. The damage to the body was slight. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved.
I suppose the victim's condition could have been worse, considering.
Yeah, it's a big gun, big gun, big iron. The big iron up. Yeah, they're accusing a 14-year-old boy from using a large caliber revolver to kill a man. Seems legit. 2 shots were fired. 1 shot missed, the other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. Oh, also, the kid is blind. Let's see. Point of bullocks be. It should bees? No, Bello, no. Boy's pianist. Yeah. Both bullets were found in the wall of the scene. Observe the diagram. This is where the bullets hit.
I see. The court accepts this evidence. If we're talking about the 45 caliber revolver, we must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use.
Really? Yeah, apparently. Weapons that have a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body.
The defense will take more care with choosing examples.
As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in the dressing room. Let's see, I'll say this, at the family reunion of an old friend, they wouldn't let her fire the 45 because it was thrown by her ass. Yep. And they're having a 14-year-old boy put on trial for this. Seems legit. For killing a man with his gun. A blind 14-year-old boy, that is. As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in a dressing room. This dressing room only has one entrance, this door.
That does seem to be the case, yes.
However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshot. He's talking about you and Emma, huh? Yet, when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty, save for the victim's body, of course.
But that's impossible.
Exactly. This murder was impossible. all but one person.
One person?
That is, of course, the defendant, Maji Tobayane.
Only the defendant could have committed this crime? But how?
The killer missed one of the shots. It is quite simple. The circumstance of the crime scene makes it clear.
Very well. I assume you have testimony to back up this claim. Let the witness please take the stand.
Your name and profession, please. I'm Sky. I'm a detective for the police department. I was security detail at this state concert forum at night. Emma seems tired somehow.
Security at a concert, you say?
Some security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder.
Now, don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. I made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know.
I'm sure that makes her feel so much better. How did you hear about these bigger mistakes? In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime was discovered quickly. And we were able to identify as the killer. You may give the court your testimony if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime, please. Alright. The night of the murder, I was security backstage at prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it.
It was lucky that the detective was the first on the scene.
But that door was the only doorway out of the room, right? Yeah, pretty much. Then I don't get it. How can they say much he did it? Looks like we need a bit more information.
Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination.
Two anyway. Ah, okay. The night of the murder was the night of concert, right? That's right. What was the detective doing? A detective doing a security detail, I might ask. If it was only a concert. My thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even if they come from rock gods. Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. The stench of conspiracy. That day, at the concert hall.
Conspiracy?
Well, isn't it obvious? My keys, the whole morning, no, the whole day was ruined. It's all because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my out to the show, I couldn't open my guitar case. There he goes again. Is it possible I simply misplaced them? Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hand on their own.
What is this? Prosecutor Gavin, if your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect.
Love, slow acting and new. Atroquine is what's waiting for you. He's singing something. Does everything with this guy has to be so over the top? The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was, like a sailor adrift in the sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else to be stolen, so I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task.
I see, I can accept that.
This judge is just so carefree and it's like, yeah, I can accept that detectives can be used as security detail for a concert. Yes, makes perfect sense. Well, I can't. What do you mean with time on their hands?
Please, the testimony.
As if the judge had any to begin with. We were let in though. I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you. I gave the Fraulein special permission to be there. I wanted to see her again. Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now. Gee, great. Some other hangers-on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off. Oh. I just realized I forgot to put on the laundry today, which is a bit of a problem. So, no other outsiders that were there though. And then, at the beginning of the third set, we already done this. I believe we're having a chat when we heard the shots. You were the one chatting, I was eating snackers.
Ah, hey, no snacking in court.
And you're sure the shots came from La Miroise Room? Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this'll keep it quiet. Ah, thanks. I don't even need to say what that looks like. So, how about it, Emma? We were right there? Hard to be mistaken about that.
Please, either talk or eat, not both at the same time.
Right, so after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door. Rock? Blaring, yes. When you say rock, are you referring to perhaps to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days? What year is this again? That's right. When we went into the dressing room, music was blaring all over the speaker on the wall. They pipe sound from the stage into the backstage through the speakers, and the sound is a little bit messed up. I hope it's just me, and it's just gonna go over when we're done with this. And that way people in the back can hear what they're supposed to be on stage. Okay, it was just a game. Did it have to be so loud? You don't listen to the Gavineers with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul. I always add the backstage monitors at full volume. When we walked in the room, the band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime.
If you could hear that music play,
then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi, including myself. Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my own investigation. Flip phones are in again. How can you know something like that? As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from the room, that door. That small window only opened a tiny crack, and I was standing in front of that door. So, how could a killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility, the air vent. Ah! But that air vent was too small. Who could possibly... Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could fit through was a child. A child? Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert was allowed. And of all the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered as a child.
Yep, the defendant.
The pixie of the Arpeggio flitted upwards towards the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime.
But that's just conjecture.
Or there was no other way out of that room. You were there. You should have known beforehand.
And there's another vital piece of evidence. Evidence? What?
Marks were found in the air vent grill. Traces that had recently opened.
Wait, what?
And something else was found, quite clearly. The defendant, Machi Tobayev's fingerprints.
What? Order! Order! Order!
That air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, Alfred, what fairy tale does this suggest to you? I can only pass through that vent. There's doorways to heaven. And there is one. That one is our pixie. Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping it with the audience. Let's see. Yeah. Ah well, we'll figure it out. So, this was decisive evidence.
Quite decisive indeed. I believe that's enough of that. The prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive. I believe we heard enough to determine our verdict, even if I was in a hurry to make a hospital visit.
I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough. Ah, it can't be over already. Very well. I believe this trial is finished. If the defense has no contradicting evidence, the prosecution has presented a proof clear and plain. If you have a contradicting evidence, it will be better be clear and plain. Apollo, the gun is in the rope already. We'd better come up with something quick. I know. Think, what can get us out of this? We need evidence or witness. What can prove Machi is innocent beyond a doubt? Without that...
Mr. Justice, do you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case? If you do, you'd better tell us about it now.
This is it. And so soon. If I mess it up now, it's already over. The court wants the contradiction proof.
We will call a witness.
Yeah. Let's avoid spoilers for Investigations 2. Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there was no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure? Absolutely. I swear it on my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-seller it, Androquine My Love. There he goes again. That's too bad, because there was a witness.
Oh, really now? But how did you come to possess the knowledge the prosecution clearly does not?
Because I'm the only one in the world who knows this. So there is something called in law, if I'm not mistaken, the process of discovery, in that the prosecution and defense are supposed to, you know, share notes and like what their discoveries, so that both aren't caught unaware by surprise witnesses and stuff like that. Of course, this being the weird thing where like proper procedure doesn't exist as it does in, like, you know, in the West. Oh well. The Gavineers. You're right there, Bello. I am unfamiliar with that.
What? The victim said this before he died?
Perhaps he did, or perhaps he did not. What do you mean by that? All we know is Al Forehead says he said. No testimony especially, since it comes from the defense attorney himself. What? I don't quite follow, Bello.
But it's the truth, he said it.
I even told you about it. And apparently, you ignored me completely. It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly, this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job. So the process of discovery was due here.
That's enough. Mr. Justice, we need clear contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution. I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty.
Perhaps a stiffer penalty than is usually called for.
There's no backing out now. Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice. La Miroir?
Recall Mr. Latu's last words.
The siren? Ah, he meant the siren.
That's right, the siren of the ballad, La Miroir. Yeah, Gavineers. Gaviners. Lambo was only on stage for the second set, and she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness.
I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin,
My claim still stands. There was no witnesses to the crime.
very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? Now, we will now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please show Lamirois to the witness stand.
Lamirois would say nothing that night about murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag that story out of her, no matter what it is. It is my distinct honor to welcome the Zyron of the ballad to the courtroom. You are too kind.
Ah, you can speak English.
Yes I can. Though I am not very good. There is much I still do not know. I was so out of the loop regarding that, Bello, but yeah, I suppose.
You speak so well. Have you spent time here before?
Actually, I don't know how I came about my knowledge of the language. No, I studied it. What does she mean? She doesn't know? The first case takes place March 10 days after Turnabout a Blaze. Wait, what? Wait. This game? Like, wait. You mean, oh, you mean Investigations 2, right? Is 10 days after Turnabout a Blaze. What does she mean? Does she not know? I too thought to call her a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course. What's that? Lamirois suffers from amnesia.
Amnesia?
Lamirois is not my true name. Yet, I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage. Whoa, she's even more mysterious than I thought. As a lauded singer, Lamirois she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her, thanks to her success. God. Yet I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress.
I see. I care surprisingly little about people's past. You have nothing to fear in this court, Lamirois.
Thank you. Yet there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness? What will I say? No one will tell me anything what happened. Lamirois, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you to be here to testify. Yet that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you stabbed. Oh my. Congratulations, Apollo. You're the bad guy.
Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime.
Still more Edgeworth, absolutely. As for what I saw, well, I saw nothing. That night, I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then, I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room, and I was told to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying.
I hope he wasn't too distracted to hear what she was actually saying. Thus you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now, we can only pray that the defense has to admit defeat, and refrain from detaining her any longer than need be. Wow, you just got better, Apollo. Way to go.
Very well. Mr. Justice, keep it short and sweet.
Lamirois wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something, and I'm going to find out what. No discount Magatama this quite yet. Because we have a clear contradiction right here. Because we found her brooch in the dressing room. I'm sorry, Lamura, but I'm having trouble believing you. Looking at the wiki people, poisoned Dahlia Hawthorne. Yeah, Dahlia Hawthorne. Hawthorne. You remember this brooch, do you not? Why, that's Lamiroise. She was wearing it for her song. Can't you add that to a testimony, Prosecutor Gavin? What? This brooch was found after the murder took place. At the very scene of the crime. What? Lamira, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And, as Prosecutor Gavin just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night.
But what is the meaning of this? Lamira, please explain.
Lamira? He says English is quite difficult. That trick isn't going to work here. Your forehead may be large, but you're a lawyer, truly. But you miss one important fact. What now? In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment. What? Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak. Is she really saying all that? What's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. Ah, is she talking about that? Yeah, everyone just goes on Apollo's forehead. I looked into the room, just a glance, mind you. So this is what was when you dropped your brooch dropped. That explains that. It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it. But that's ridiculous! You only looked in for an instant, but you dropped your brooch? Her forehead. She has raised a possibility. The only thing that can counter that is evidence.
So she looked in at the crazy crime scene.
Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice. Her forehead shouting, "Who's there, no doubt?" An horrible voice indeed. I closed the door immediately.
Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony.
That's so convenient. She's hiding something. Lamira, you did look into the room though, right? Yes. Testify as to what you saw. Very, very well. Though it was only the briefest of glimpses. When the performance was finished, I went backstage for just a moment. I saw nothing. The late Mr. Latou's body was behind the wall. Another story is good. In Ace Attorney, yeah, the music in Ace Attorney is amazing. It's like super like on point. I wonder if 8-Bit Music Theory has made a video on the music in Ace Attorney. I hope so. Or one of the music theory YouTubers. Maybe I should do like a Patreon thing there, like just say, hey, can you do the music of Ace Attorney? Why is it so, you know, catchy? A wall? There's a wall there? Is what in English? A division or partition, I believe. It was a large dressing room, divided into halves, and the murder place on the inside half. Guess a partition might have hidden the body. Hey, look at that.
Gotcha!
The late Mr. Latour's body, you say? Yes? You know something more about Mr. Latour's death than you're saying. What? I can see you trying not to remember, but the effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes. My Sharingan sees everything. It is true. It was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Latour's have to get shot? One moment, L'Amour. Yes? What was it you just said? Why did Mr. Latour's have to be shot? Yes? She was hiding something, I knew it. L'Amour, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony. Huh? How could that be? Take this. L'Amour's contradiction contradicts her own testimony, and I have the evidence to prove it.
Take that!
Discount Magatama. Tell me, L'Amour, how did you know he had been shot? Huh? Well, immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is a document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, no one told me anything about the incident. Ah. Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Latour's had been shot. How could you have known?
L'Amour, you aren't hiding something from this court, I hope.
That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet. Now I remember. Please, allow me to add to my testimony. Of course. All we want to know is the truth. She looks kind of pale, huh? She saw something, I know it. Even the victim said so. I finally found how to configure my microphone to a modded console. Ooh, nice. But that is not true either. Because that can't be because of the wall. Well, the door rather, because the door opens inwards. Oh no, pigs. No! Not the ice cream and strawberries. I want chocolate. Tenhor, can you attend me with some chocolate, please? I would like some chocolate. What lies are hardly becoming of such a creature?
I put down.
Huh?
No chocolate. A put down worthy of a prosecutor, Mr. Justice.
Such put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo. Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, yeah?
Come on, can't I be cool for once?
Observe the diagram. L'Amour, you looked in from the door for just a moment, correct? Yes, that is so. There were bullet holes in the room, yes. But they were in the wall the door is on. You see? Assuming you merely glanced into the room, you couldn't have seen those bullet holes. chocolate though. I want chocolate.
La Miroir.
Yes?
I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you have been holding back something.
And I must tell you? Must I tell you what it is that I saw?
Yes. The happenings of this trial are being recorded, and as certainly will be on the news in Virginia. You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid tarnishing it.
Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing. You know what, Bello? I think you're right. Just 2 minutes. I want some chocolate, and I want it badly. Because chocolate is amazing. So, back in just a second. I return, and I have some chocolate. And why is my chat wiped out? Oh well. Some wonderful, super dark, 86% cocoa chocolate. Mmm. The best chocolate. I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing. Oops. But she knew how Mr. Latouche died. And he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, La Miroir. Oh, dark chocolate is the best.
Very well. La Miroir, please continue with your testimony.
Very well, I shall. I was on my way back from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something that's like a little window there. That's how I saw it. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It was a grown person. I know it was.
So, you did witness the crime. And this killer was a grown person, you say?
This is my first time hearing of this, I assure you. Nice play, Air Forehead.
Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your cross-examination.
Great going, Apollo. You're right about La Miroir. So here's another thing. Sunday, I'm hoping to make some more chocolate because I can use my my sous vide and my big pot, and I will have, most importantly, time to make it. I can make some wonderfully dark keto chocolate. I'm gonna put some dried raspberries in it and salt, and it's going to be amazing. I've been looking forward to it for a very long time. We got like molds for chocolate bars, proper chocolate bars. It's gonna be great. What's wrong? You don't look too happy. This whole thing smells fishy, and that's what's wrong. The big one was the whole the big person. Yeah, don't don't feel like a heart attack, pigs, please. That'd be bad. But heart attacks aren't good. A grown person? That's a little vague. I'm sorry. My skills with the language is lacking, I know.
Certainly, you could at least see whether the shooter was male or female.
It was a man. A young man.
And you're sure of that?
Yes. His voice was quite clear.
Voice? Looking at this diagram, it seems the dressing was quite cluttered. It does seem likely that you wouldn't have had a clear view of the shooter.
As a singer, I rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I hear a voice, I do not forget it. That voice. It was the voice of a man. So you heard that voice, but wait. It couldn't have been the victim, Mr. Latouche?
Absolutely not.
Did I not just say that I do not forget a voice? If it was Mr. Latouche that had spoke, I would have known.
Indeed. So you were at the window and you heard the shooter's voice, the voice of a young man?
Apollo, this is good testimony. That proves it wasn't Machi.
Indeed. If this turns out to be true, it would cast this case in a considerably different light. What is the defense opinion in this testimony?
It is contradictory, however. Although it pains me to say this, there is something about Lamroir's testimony that rings false. Bravo, air forehead. You're colder than I thought. I'm sure you remember what the problem is as well as I do, Mr. Gavin. As has been established, no grown man could pass through that air vent. He couldn't have fled the scene of the crime. But that would mean Lamroir has been lying. I know it's bad for a case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. Believe me, the idea was tempting. It is as her forehead says. Yet, this is not the only contradiction with her testimony. What next? What is he talking about? Lamroir, I understand that you want to protect Matty. Yet remember, you are the siren of the ballad. And lies do not become such a creature.
What does the prosecution mean?
Apollo, what's it talking about?
How come no one bats an eye when he said stuff like that?
I call the state of the crime scene quite well.
The state of the room?
Yes, and when the murder took place. That window was closed. I find it hard to believe that you could hear a voice through it.
What?
But I'm sure. Lamroir, I have nothing but highest regard for you in a musical sense. But my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat less.
But she is the only eyewitness we have.
So you say. And the victim named her, the siren, as the witness.
That's right.
That was Mr. Latouche. We heard your claim. We even entertained the possibility, and it brought us to this. Our judge.
Yes?
The prosecution requests that the witness be excused. Please.
I'm afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. It is indeed a question of the witness' credibility.
But if Lamroir can't testify, then we don't have a chance of proving Matthew's innocence.
This examination is over. Prosecutor Gavin, you may continue making your case.
Danke. Now, where were we? Ah, yes, I would like to hear from Fraulein Detective again.
Wait, let me hear Lamroir's testimony again. But the cross-examination is already over. Until such a need arises, this witness may leave the stand.
I am sorry I could not be of any more assistance. At last, back to the real trial. Ready, air forehead?
I hope I just didn't miss my only chance.
So, as I said, Gavin is like after the truth, and in this sense, like he is not really helping us. He's helping his own case. Fraulein Detective, How far have we forgotten until we were so rudely interrupted? Don't ask me. I just like saying the same thing twice. And I never repeat a song for an encore.
If you would, Miss Sky.
I believe I was saying I was the only one. I believe I was saying that the only way Mr. Lou's killer could have escaped was through that air vent in the ceiling.
Ah, yes. There was only one door in the room. And a witness, you, was standing in front of it.
The air vent isn't very big, see? Kind of limits the possible people that could possibly get through.
I certainly would have a difficult time.
You sure would. None of you would have been there in the first place, though. Remember, the whole backstage area was off limits to people not involved with the concert. The only one who meets the conditions for a killer is the defendant. A virtuoso performance. I couldn't have put it better myself.
She does state a clear case, although reading the report, something caught my eye.
Or, what is that?
The circumstances of the defendant's arrest.
The circumstances? Again? Hey, that's right, Apollo. Remember when we found Machi? That was bizarre. She's right. Why did Mr. Latou's body disappear from the room and end up on the top of the stage tower, holding a guitar, no less? A perceptive observation, our judge.
Oh, thanks. There was kind of an accident, really. But you work in this job long enough, you get a nose for things.
The judge sure seems pleased with himself. Very good, Fräulein Detective. Perhaps you can tie it all together for us. Why was the body moved? And how does it lead us to the killer? I believe Matthew stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match Lamiro's song. No one in his core country had the motive to kill the victim, and Matthew practically left his signature at the scene. All of this evidence clearly points to the defendant.
Signature?
Lamiro's song? Yes, the guitar's Serenade. You noticed its code too, did you not?
Its code?
All the events that day followed the lyrics of our song. But the keys my art held on so tightly were stolen. Then Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flames on stage. Squad, let's watch all the things. Mr. Latou's life was taken by a bullet. The rest hardly needs explanation, no? Guitar, up together to the sky.
That's mad. It's like a story out of some fairy tale.
I admit, I'd forgotten about the song. But that is now waiting for me, the grand finale, as it were. Yes, Pix, you should. Hey, you know I was the one who noticed that.
I've heard of jumping rope to songs and counting to songs, but killing?
It is a wild world out there, Herr Judge.
Very well. We heard one song and one dance. Let's get down to the next. The cross-examination.
I'm not so sure I'm going to be doing so much singing. And put the announcements everywhere. That's what the live stream channel on my Discord is for. Spread the connecting networks. But So this is the strange thing here. Yeah. What do you mean by a signature? The bullet holes in the wall, of course. The bullet holes? The revolver was fired twice. One shot missed and left a hole in the wall.
And that means what exactly?
That dressing room isn't exactly spacious. Picture the shooting facing up with the victim in there. They can't have been more than 5 feet apart. It will be difficult, almost impossible to miss at that range.
Difficult to miss, you say?
Very. Assuming the shooter could properly aim. No, you can't be serious. Machi, he can't see. Yeah, that is fair enough, Pix. That's why he missed? It's the only explanation that makes sense. He used the sound and the other senses to fire the gun. Poorly. That reminds me, the monitor in that room was blaring at the time, yeah? Hardly ideal conditions for tracking my sound.
A blind shooter. No wonder he missed.
I knew those bullet holes would come back to haunt me. Think, Justice, what do we do now? Sure, there were bullet holes left in the wall. But that doesn't prove the shooter couldn't see. Or also, well, there couldn't have been a struggle. There could be a struggle with the victim.
That's certainly possible.
And I will, and has streamed way less than you, feel bad. Yeah. Also, it might have been due with the revolver's fault.
With the revolver?
The revolver was a very large caliber, correct?
If the shooter wasn't used to firing such a large weapon, why would dislocate their shoulder?
Exactly. The defendant, Machi Tobaye, is, as you can see, tiny. It's also hard to picture him firing a gun and missing entirely. The kickback alone would throw off his aim.
A convincing argument, to be sure.
Ha! Take that, smart prosecution. Apollo. Huh? What? That bit about Machi being tiny and the gun throwing off his aim? Aren't you kind of, admitting that he did it? Oh. It doesn't matter why he missed. What matters is that the shooter was, without a doubt, the defendant. Even the defense seems to agree on that point. Yuck! Oh, cripes! I've really put my foot in it this time. But let's get the facts. Let's get the fact of the matter on the record. Oh, hello. Another bot. Thank you, Kaimo. If you would, Fraulein Detective.
Very well. The witness would add this to her testimony.
There's this thing here, though.
Objection!
The prosecution holds that the shooter couldn't see. As a scientific conclusion, based on the thorough examination of the crime scene, yes. Apparently not thorough enough. I have a certain piece of evidence that completely overturns your claim. What? This is that evidence.
A photograph of the crime scene.
I don't care much for the smirk on Prosecutor Garen's face, but this is no time for thinking twice. Time to press on. Yes, Your Honor, the crime scene. There is something here that decisively contradicts your prosecution's point. Then perhaps you can show us this something. Get your finger out of the breeze and put it to good use, yeah? So, When the stream's over, I'm gonna enjoy some good old crackling together with my chocolate. It's gonna be amazing, but we still have lots to go, I think.
Very well. Show us what you're talking about, Mr. Justice. The contradiction that at this crime scene is...
The contradiction is right here. The smeared bloodstains?
I thought it was just my blurry vision.
What is wrong with crackling pics? Crackling is amazing. It's so good. I've even made crackling from chicken skin and it's amazing. Bacon swoot, Kaimo. You know, bacon. Fair enough, it's not for everyone, but I love it.
But it was really blurry. The way the victim's hand is raised above his head, much like a gesture I've seen many times in court.
It's almost as if he wrote something. Aha, I get it! At least, I think I get it. Get what, Harlane? When Mr. Toulouse was shot, he tried to write something. Yes, crackling. You like crispy bacon bits. Like this. It's amazing. Hello, I have to go now. Okay, Questcottle. Thank you for dropping in. I guess you've been lurking a little while. So, thank you for dropping by. Yeah, pork rinds. Pork rinds, like just... It has so many names. Like, in Britain it's called crackling. It can also be called pork rinds. But it's just tasty. And you can do it like with any skin. As I said, I use... Whenever I buy chicken nowadays, I will always like take skin from like the skin parts that are left over, render the fats and make crackling from like chicken crackling, and it just disappears. It doesn't last a day. And well, what would he write with the shooter's name? Wait, that's a thing? How did I make it, you know, crispy and not, you know, soggy and stuff? And what did he write it in but his own blood? Pretty good, huh? Thanks for making my point for me. Yes, in fact, that was what I think happened here.
That does seem to be a distinct possibility.
It's gonna... I think like, it sounds like it's like... Okay. The audio sounds like a little bit like off right now. I hope you're not hearing it, but it sounds to me like the audio's a little bit, you know... I don't know. The victim wrote the killer's name. It's certainly a logical conclusion. Trat! I just wish it wasn't all rubbed out like that.
Of course it's rubbed out. Why, if I were a killer? I certainly wouldn't want to leave my own name behind.
Neither would I.
No one has anything else to say?
About what? So the prosecution accepts this? You agree that this was the victim making an attempt to record the name of the killer? And the killer tried to rub the name out? What's your point? What's my point? Let me ask you this. How did the killer know the victim was writing their name? Well, Mr. Latouche was writing something in blood. Once the killer knew what that was, saw what that was? Wait.
Once he saw what it was?
But what did you just testify about the shooter? I said they were blind. Ah! Yet the crime scene itself contradicts that. The killer had been able to see. Why would they rub out the blood otherwise? May I remind the caller, the defendant, Machi Tobaya, is blind. He couldn't have been the shooter. Impossible! Okay.
Please explain to me what this all means. I mean, looking at this photo, it seems like clear that the shooter could see. Yet, up until now...
It seems I owe the court an apology. The Gaviniers are a band with law enforcement ties, yet a murder has occurred during a concert. Apparently, this caused some confusion over jurisdiction. As a result, some reports were not filed in an entirely timely manner. I'm not sure I like the vibe I'm getting here. Hey, Apollo, look at him. Why is Prosecutor Gavin all reluctant smiling like that? So, you can always make it yourself if you have some pork rinds. It is very easy to make crackling at home. At least in a way, like, so these ones are all super puffy and stuff. This takes some effort, but there is another way to do it. I think Jamie Oliver has a video on that on YouTube somewhere, on how to make crackling with a less complicated way. I haven't tried it myself, but it's easy. It is very easy. It's just like basically bake it in the oven for a long time on low heat and stuff like that. Yep, long time, low heat, press down. And another thing you get out of it is amazing, like rendered bacon fat that you can use for cooking afterwards, like pork fat. It is so good to use for like cooking. I use it sometimes in place of, you know, vegetable oil for some of my things. It's so good. Like he's about to show, no, he knows something we don't, and he's about to tell us. I've got an idea. Let's rock. Yeah, literally that. That's how you make bacon rinds. It's easy and tasty. With these documents, but before that, I have a question for the Fraulein Detective. If I may? What? Tell me, why do you think that Machi Tobaye is blind? Huh? What did you say? What are you saying? Of course he's blind. Of course? He's a blind pianist, right? So he's... Doesn't Lamour leave him around by the hand all the time? No way. I have a report here on the defendant, Mati Tobaye. According to this, Mati Tobaye can see perfectly well. What? His blindness is merely a publicity ploy by those clever Burgundians. He can see quite well. But you said... What did I say exactly? Therefore, not once in the course of this trial have I claimed the defendant is blind. The only one that did was Fraulein Detective. But that's a significant fact, yes. Consider Mathieu Tobaye sees. And he was the only one who could have fled through the air vent. I see no problem with this. But what about the bullet holes in the wall? Yes, the bullet holes. I believe F4 neatly explained those for us. He didn't miss because he couldn't see. He was a kickback from the 45 caliber revolver. A simple accident, in other words. How's that? I'm afraid your objection has just flown off for brighter skies. This is where the real fun begins, F4head. Yard! I knew you didn't have what it took. You jerk! Just what was I in here for? Comic relief? Yeah, apologize. So sorry. That's no way to apologize. He's anger choosing now, look out. Yeah, there is that, but who cares? Can we
please end the bickering now?
I care. Bad Bello. You know what you did. Whatever, I'm not leaving. I can't leave like this. I'll come up with some clue to solve in this case if it kills me.
But your testimony has already given us enough to convict the defendant. Oh, don't say that.
What? This bloodstain. The criminal tried to wipe it off, right? That seems to be what happened, yes? We might be able to find out what's really written here.
Really? You can do that?
That's right, with this. It's called luminol. So who can remember the luminol thing from the ashes, Rise from the Ashes case? Yeah, we're doing it again. More DS gimmicks. Maybe you know of it. It's a chemical that reacts to blood. Ah, yes. Have we done those tests yet? Ha! As if I'm going to tell you. The blood stains cover the section of the carpet. In order to perform the test, that section was removed and submitted. Perhaps you should request it here in court right now? Right, go for it, Apollo.
Huh? I have to do the test?
You just have to spray the luminol on it. Simple. A chemical that reacts to blood. I've heard this somewhere.
Yes, I believe an analyst this analysis is called for. Have at it!
Yeah, it is exactly that. Right, ready? Easy as pie. Just touch the screen, blah blah blah. Tutorial stuff. Apollo, your hand is shaking. Oh, let's do this. Wow, it really works. This must be the Sour Science? It says IPXX314206. That's the killer's name. Is that the killer's name?
Maybe it is. If the killer was a robot.
Aha, I have it. So what is it? I thought those letter IPXX looks familiar. It is an Interpol ID number. Interpol? You mean the International Police Agency? Yes. Most are undercover agents working to solve international crime. Oh no, not again! Hold on. I'm going to just turn off this alarm. Not like this, not Interpol again. But why would he write that number? Why would Mr. Latouz even know a number like that? Good show, Fräulein Detective. Rock on. Your Honor, we can verify this number immediately. Darian, are you there? Come up to the witness stand. Darian, you heard what we need. Go check into this Interpol ID number.
Sure thing. Give me 30 minutes. No, give me 27. I'm not sure what to think of all this. The prosecution's case is airtight, or so it seems. Yet, if this number really is that of an Interpol agent...
Oh, wait, I know. What if Machi Toba is really an undercover Interpol agent? That would be a possibility. How is that a possibility? He's 14! No! No! No!
A possibility, yes. One that would mark him as the killer for certain.
Why did Latouz know an Interpol ID number? That's what I want to know. Well, we have some time to, while we wait for Diane's report. Let's work on unraveling another mystery, shall we? A curious mystery concerning Machitobaye.
What are you talking about?
Fräulein Detective, please accept my apologies. A received word defect and could in fact see just before the trial began. It seemed too much of a bother to tell you. You had me until that last bit. Does this not raise a rather straightforward question? Well, sure. Why did Machi pretend he couldn't see? Exactly. It makes little sense. What do you think, your forehead?
Huh? Me?
Machitobaye pretended to be he was blind. Do you know why?
How could he know?
Wait, Prosecutor Gavin knows why, doesn't he?
He knows known from the start of this trial. He's been leading us on this whole time.
Something wrong? Do you think, perhaps, that this is some kind of game? No, that the moment I heard that report, I knew why.
I suppose people who have sold over 1 million records really are something else. What does it have to do with anything?
That was the reason why Machitobaye had to pretend to be blind?
Are you doing okay there, Bellows?
But it wasn't for his own sake. Getting the picture now?
It wasn't for himself? Well, Mr. Justice, can you present evidence that shows us why the defendant had to feign his plain blindness?
Machi had no reason to pretend he couldn't see, which means no, it couldn't be. Good show, Air Forehead. It seems like you've thought of something.
Why can't I figure these things out on my own? I hate having to take my cues from this guy.
Very well, look at this. This is why he was pretending he couldn't see.
Oh. That is La Miroir.
La Miroir and Machitobaye recall the relationship. In particular, the unique arrangement over the years before visiting our country. La Miroir and her pianist, they would always walk together, she leading him by the hand. Even when they got on stage, she would lead him to the piano. She would walk all the way over there with him. That's right, because he was blind. She led him all that time, never let him go.
All times?
Yet we just learned something that makes their arrangement peculiar indeed. Much you could see. Why did they have to keep this act up the whole time?
Well, wasn't it part of their performance?
I think there's a simple explanation. Machi didn't need to be led by the hand at all. That can only mean one thing. Really? Really, it was the other way around. The one who needed to be led by the hand was La Miroir.
What's this? So, you mean to say that La Miroir she's...
Yes, Your Honor. La Miroir is blind.
What? Order! 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 This is crazy! Prosecutor Gavin!
Is it now?
Please shed some sanity on this madness! The defense has made an outrageous claim.
The only outrageous I see about the defense is his vast forehead. Yet, I see it is not vast in vain this time. He is quite correct.
But that makes no sense.
Yeah, wasn't she supposed to be the landscape painter in sound or something? Well, since we have her here, why not ask La Miroir herself? I believe she is still waiting in the witness waiting room. Apollo, what does this mean for our case? Don't ask me. I had no idea she couldn't see. I hadn't even imagined it until now.
Bailiff, bring in La Miroir.
La Miroir, it pains me deeply to call you before us again this way, and yet I must. Please, do not be concerned on my behalf. Those eyes, she really can't see, really? It is true. How funny it is that a tiny light born in the Burgundian countryside would one day grow to entangle the entire world.
So you are?
Yes, as I mentioned before, I have no memory of the time before I became La Miroir. Know too that my memories begin in darkness. The word light has no meaning for La Miroir.
I see.
Hey, I guess we'll be rating mine when we're done here. We're closing on the last here. Last testimony now before the end of the day. Oh, the end of the trial today. You may recall me saying something towards the beginning of this trial, Erforet. What is that? I believe I said it was unfortunate this crime had no direct witness. Ah. Now, La Miroir, I must ask you to stand once more. Will you testify to the court about your eyes? Of course. Oh. It was never my intent to deceive any of you. May I begin, Your Honor?
Oh yes, of course. Though I admit I'm a little lost here.
I think we're all a bit lost here, Your Honor. I have no memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. My producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. So, as the silhouette made sound, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others.
But this is a murder trial.
I apologize, but it was part of my contract, you see. I was to keep my blindness secret, no matter what. Music is everything to me. I had never would have imagined something like this would. She told us the truth in the beginning, when she said she saw nothing.
Very well. Does the defense have anything else to add?
I'd like to cross-examine. But what else is there to ask? There's one thing in their testimony that bothers me. Perhaps it is best we let you go, get it out of your system. Someday you will come to understand the importance of thinking for yourself.
Very well. The defense may proceed. However, be aware that this court will not tolerate any questions deemed too stressful to the witness.
Okay. There is only one part of that testimony that bothered me. Just let me ask about that and I'll be happy. Wait, 70 gig big ROM hack? What? For which ROM? When you say your staff, do you include Mr. Toulouse? Latouche? Of course, he was my manager. So he knew, and that's what's been bugging me.
Something the matter, Mr. Justice.
Oh. I might want my hands on that, depending on what, like, I assume it's a DS, like, pack. But that sounds something that is indeed very, very interesting. I mean, we don't condone such things here. I believe I know what is bothering our young defense attorney. You are thinking of when you discovered the body, yes? Is he right, Apollo?
Yes, I was.
Ah. Yes. Everything is totally legitimate here.
Mr. Latouche told me to ask the witness and he named you.
TLGCs. We are totally doing legitimate consoles here, yes. I like that.
Why would he do that? He knew you were blind.
I don't know. What did I just say? You need to learn to think for yourself.
Meaning what?
There is no mystery here if you recall everything he said. Think of his last words once more.
The witness siren. I heard them many times along with a little play acting by our defense.
I remember them myself, but that statement is not what I refer. I mean, what he said before that.
Before? What came before?
Ah, that's right, he tried to tell you. When he said can't see, he wasn't talking about himself, he was talking about the witness.
I see.
Too bad the defense did not. Well, Air Forehead, try relaxing and looking at the facts next time.
Ugh. Order! Order!
Recall Lamuroir's earlier testimony.
But you couldn't have heard those gunshots. I thought we proved that.
That is not the most important point here. The moment he was shot, Mr. Toulouse's witness house through that window. Why else would he have named her as the witness?
Ah, but I really did hear them. 2 gunshots, and the man's voice.
Unfortunately, such a thing was impossible. The window was closed. We have already run a simulation, of course.
But it was so clear. If I heard that voice again, I would know it in an instant. Your Honor, what is it, bailiff? Can't you see we're in session here? We have the results back from the investigation. The investigation?
Ah, the Interpol number Mr. Latouche left for us?
Well, let's hear it. We will continue this cross-examination afterwards. Detective Percent, your report, please. I asked the Interpol about that number. I'm sure you'll find their answer intriguing.
Quick work as always, Darian.
Well, tell us about the number. Is the defendant a secret agent? IPX 314-206. The agent registered under this number was Roman Latouche.
A what?
Undercover Interpol agent. Our undercover Interpol agent was Mr. Latouche himself. He apparently was in the middle of an operation. So, when he wrote those letters, he was trying to tell us his own identity. Cautious killer tried to wave them away. Mr. Latouche was an undercover Interpol agent? So, him being Lamuroir's manager, which is the cover most likely, There's one important detail, other important detail I found. Well, Outvisit concerns that 45 caliber revolver, the murder weapon, apparently belonged to Romain Latous. He had an Interpol permit to carry firearms, and the registration number on the revolver matched. So, the victim was killed with his own weapon. That makes sense. It's hard to imagine someone who wasn't an Interpol agent with such a large revolver. So, the victim was an Interpol agent on an undercover op. I wonder how that ties into everything. What's with the undercover, Interpol agents and that, it's gotta tie in somehow, you'd think. Yeah, somehow. Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescent. It's a great help. Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out. Wait. Lamerois, is something the matter? That voice just now. Darian? Mr. Darian, is it? It was him. I am sure of it. It was him? You weren't saying! That voice I heard talking to Mr. Latous when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darian. Is this some kind of a joke? What? No way. The courtroom fell into such a chaotic state, the trial had to be suspended temporarily. I'd never seen this happen before. Of course, it's not every day you get an accusation like that one. Lamerois, fingering Darren Persan, not only is he a guitarist, he is a detective. Could it really have been his voice Lamerois heard? Things were changing fast, and frankly, I wasn't sure I could keep up with it. Hey! No whipping out now, Apollo! And that concludes today's stream. 3.5 hours. For the first day. Well, first day. Let's do like this. Everything is a mess, as usual, when it comes to everything Ace Attorney. I keep saying, this is my least favorite game in the series, and it is. But, the fact that we're enjoying it, still enjoying it so much, speaks volumes of how good the Ace Attorney games are. I just think that there's a bit too many gimmicks with the 3DS, which is fair. But I still love this game. It's still good, even if it's my least favorite. Also, yes. I mean, Ten was calling for me, but it's hard to hear her because, she's out in the living room. I have a noisy window here. So if she wants to come and talk to me, I still can't hear what she's saying. Oh well, she'll have to come out here. Now, even if I take off my headset, I still couldn't hear her. So, of course, we'll be continuing this next Friday. I think we should be able to finish this case next Friday, because the cases don't go to day 3 in this game, and we will go through everything. Well, they do go to case 3, but the day 3, but it's trial number 3, I guess. The spider is dead. Are you talking about Nosk? I have no idea which spider. Yeah, she stumbled across Nosk. She's been playing Hollow Knight,
I wish I could have seen her face when she stumbled across Nosk. I really, really do. It is always fun to see when someone stumbles across Nosk for the first time. Now, I'm just looking up on the side here. So there are 3 more sections left next time. So it'll be a longer stream probably next time, because I want to finish this particular case. And then we go into the last case of the game, which is Turnabout Succession. Turnabout Succession is long. And I'll probably be doing it over 3 streams. But hey, you know, you'll probably all maybe it actually will take 2 streams. It depends on how late I go. But I think today's now is a good place. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should just do the investigation here, and we'll just do the trial next time. I'm actually considering that. At the same time, though, I have this bowl of snacks that I really should eat, and I don't want to eat it too late. You know what? I'll just do the investigation and the trial next time. So next Friday will be a rather late stream, probably. So you'll all have to enjoy for that, because I don't want to leave the next part in the middle of the trial, you know. So we'll call it for today. Now, Monday we'll be continuing some more Golden Sun. Let's see, just need to think if there's anything else outstanding to say. Make sure to break out the caffeine then. We'll just have to see if it will become necessary. It shouldn't be necessary, but we'll see. Because the investigation part of the next thing, if I recall correctly, isn't too long. Like, the trial is long, but the investigation part is really not too long. But considering it takes me forever to read stuff, it will probably take a while. But we'll have to see. I can't remember. It's been a while, you know. But as I've said, that'll be it for today, and we are going to be raiding probably Mina. And oh, she's not playing the Crash Bandicoot trilogy. No, it says she's playing Crash, but like the preview is showing Catherine full body. We'll just have to say that she needs to update that. Well, update it myself, because I have a mod on her channel, so I can fix the topic myself. But thank you all for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I most certainly have. I've also started to upload the archive for the Ace Attorney games on YouTube now. I'm uploading them once a week, like every stream. So today, just like some hours ago, the stream for the first case went live, and I think I'm gonna just do it like that, just to have some staggering things. On the bad side, it'll be a little bit delayed. I might actually upload it like a little bit later, like so at I upload last week's stream on the day I'm streaming, you know, if you understand what I mean. I hope you do. Because I want to have like a little bit more like predictability when I upload my streams onto YouTube. So I'm trying to make it such that the stream on the footage on YouTube is 1 week old. So it's basically like on the Friday, it's the previous Friday's footage. I have been very bad at doing things like this historically, but I just want to get, you know, done and have this schedule and structure things. Structure is good for everyone, and consistency is also good. So with that out of the way, let's raid Mina, because she is playing some Catherine, and yeah, well, they are scheduled are nice, because it helps everyone plan. It helps people plan, and so on. So hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you for Monday. Take care, everyone. And Remember to pathfind now. It's important.